All right, want to welcome everybody today. As I mentioned to those of you that arrived early, we have over 200 participants registered for today. We have over a dozen countries joining us. Just shows you how global LinkedIn is, as well as the internet. And so you're all connected. In fact, if after this, we always encourage that if you do want to join us online, we have some good conversations, some other classes that we're offering, and some great offerings on our Facebook page. So if you go to facebook.com/forward-progress, you'll be able to join some of the conversation and dialogue on our Facebook account. So we always like to do that. You can follow us on Twitter, as well as, and most all the emails that you get from us have ways that you can follow and connect to our online community. So with that being said, just want to welcome everybody. There's been a lot of changes with LinkedIn, and so that's what we want to do. We want to tune you into the changes. Now, a lot of you are part of our Social Jack program or our coaching and training program where you're with us regularly every month getting coaching and training, and some of you are new to our space in terms of, and we want to welcome you on, both the people that are part of our community already. We always love to see you back in the classes, and because of you and your participation and your great questions, we know what content serves you the best. We always put things in the flair of business development. So we're always looking, what can you use to increase the value of your network, right? How can we help you make your network better, and how can we convert that into new business for you? Because we're all interested in generating new business. Now, some of us might generate business in different ways, where we're more on a career track or a corporate track, where we're trying to use some of these tools in a career capacity. And some of you might know or might not know that we teach this at the graduate school level and in corporate America to help companies get stronger from the inside out. We also use this tactically in sales to help companies develop new business or get into new markets. So there's a lot of cool opportunity here. So again, we want to welcome everybody that's with us, and we're excited to have you today. With me, I also have Jamie Griffin from our social media department. She'll be assisting on helping to make sure that I don't miss any of your questions. So say hi to everybody, Jamie.
Hi, guys.
And she will, and so she'll be monitoring the questions, and the questions you type in are in the GoToWebinar taskbar. So we want to make sure that you see where those questions, where to put in the questions. And many of you have already been chatting with us in there, and we've said hi to most of you in there. So when you have questions that come up, we'll try to answer them during the session, and if not, we'll keep those till the end. So again, let's go ahead and get started. We're happy. We've trained and coached over 60,000 people in actually over 35 countries now, and like I mentioned, we have a dozen different countries on with us today. So let's talk a little bit about LinkedIn and some changes, and things like that. So if we look at the things that LinkedIn is changing, right? And we always try to talk in context of the basic account, the non-paying LinkedIn account. So everything we covered today is available to the free users on LinkedIn as long as your profiles have been updated. And I'll say more about that when we get to certain features. They have retired events. So I don't know if you noticed, but at the end of last year, the events has gone away. So we can no longer, like on Facebook, those of us that do event promotions can set up and promote our events on Facebook. Well, LinkedIn took that away, and we all believe, based on the folks that we know and what we hear, that there's some strategic play for them to acquire one or two of the big online event companies, but we'll see. That hasn't really fully transacted yet, but we do see some cool things in the works. Also, the LinkedIn Answers section is also been removed, and that was a shame, because a lot of people use this to rank themselves as sort of experts on LinkedIn. So now that they've removed this, we have to use groups, and we have to use our community around us and our good profiles and those types of things to be that expert in the community. So we can't lean on LinkedIn Answers to create that popularity for us anymore. That is gone. Now, when we look at the actual profile, this is like the older format profile. Some of you may still be partially on this. Most everybody that's on with us today, I was trying to look at as many profiles for everybody that registered, and I was just trying to scan through the profiles, and it looked like most of you are on the new format. But let's talk about some changes. Okay, so what LinkedIn used to do is have the 100% profile completeness. Now, some of you may still see this when you go into if you go to profile, edit profile, you'll see that it allows you to have 100% profile completeness. And the way that they changed profile completeness, or the new version of this, so when you are looking to get yourself ranked, and the reason what I'm about to tell you is important is because when LinkedIn does a search, okay, they are looking to return the best results for that search. Okay, and so they look at your completeness of your profile. They look at a couple other things too. So the new thing that they look for is they want to make sure that you have an industry claimed and a location, right? So most all of us should have that, and it's in the top part of your profile. If you go to edit your profile, it's where you're claiming your industry and your location. And the industry is important because that's how people search for a lot of resources on LinkedIn. So you really want to have that claimed. We also want to make sure that your industry is selected, right? So not just your industry, but your location, because when people do a location-based search, it might be to a certain area. So it's important to have the accuracy of your location. Some of you, and for example, those of you in Chicago, might also have an office in the suburbs, but you want to represent the greater Chicago area. So you want to claim, maybe not necessarily, you want to claim your market, not your exact location in this instance. There's another place to put your address, and we'll show that here in a few minutes. An up-to-date current position with a description. Now this is so critical where it says with a description. You want to have your up-to-date current position as well as your past positions and your education with as much description as you can put in there. LinkedIn looks at that and counts that to the strength of your profile because they know that you're committed. You're committed to tell them the whole story. So they really score you on that. And then on your skills, which we'll cover here in detail in a few minutes, there's a minimum of 3 skills that you can have, right? So there's a max of 50, and we'll get to the skills here in a few minutes, but you at least need 3 skills, and all of you have at least 3 skills, if not 50. So you need a profile photo. Yes, this will affect your ranking and your results. So think about how important that is. And then at least 50 connections. Jennifer's asking if you'll get a copy of the presentation at the end. And yes, Jennifer, we'll make sure that you get a copy of the presentation. Okay, so now the new thing is profile strength, right? So based on your profile strength, right? So you can see right there that I'm marked as an all-star. You go to your profile, and on the right-hand side, when you go to view your profile, it's profile, view profile. And on the right-hand side, down below who's viewed your profile, there's a box that says Profile Strength. And if you have a certain strength profile, you can actually start sharing your profile, but they don't allow you to share your profile with people until you get to a certain strength level. Now, the cool thing is they sort of coach you a little bit in terms of what you need to improve your profile. If you look, they have improve your profile right at the top box, right? So you can actually go in and see what you need to do, and they will coach you through the things that we just told you. You need more connections. You need to add a description. You need to add some experience, right? Now, those of you that have been through our profile writing service and our coaching classes know that we take you in depth to keyword strategy and indexing so that you can get found. So we really want to we really want to make sure that you come up in searches. Well, that's a whole different strategy. What LinkedIn's going to do is it's going to tell you just to fill it out. But you also want to make sure that you pay attention. So if you haven't been through some proper training or guidance on keyword strategy or building an effective profile that will help get you found, you want to make sure you take a little bit of time to do that. But LinkedIn is going to coach you in terms of when you click on that button, things that you need to finish. You know, did you get a degree at the school? Now, Judy's saying that she didn't find it, so let's just make sure that, and Judy, you might still have one of the profiles that get ranked based on percentage, but you would go to Profile, View Profile, and if you view profile, you can improve your profile, and if you scroll down here, right, you can see profile strength. So just like I have on there. So hopefully that helps you. And if not, the other alternative is prior to this, if you're still on the old profile, you go to Profile, Edit Profile, and you can see the profile completeness. Regardless, the things that you update are still the same. Okay, regardless, that scores your profile. Okay, so just want to make sure I'm clear on that. And then and then down here, I just talk about the fact that you can constantly improve your profile. And yes, I'll give this. So so Eric's saying, is there yes. So Jeff, yes, you can consistently keep strengthening your profile. So yes, you can get, so what I have is I have some schooling that I did not get a degree. I went to a different university to get to the degree. So there's always going to be something that LinkedIn still feels is is sort of taking, you know, to that level. So if you filled out everything and you've updated everything that you possibly can on your profile, it's not going to give you the signal to improve your profile. Now, the reason mine constantly comes up, like I said, is because, you know, I started at DePaul, but I didn't get a degree at DePaul, and it still is in this crazy loop trying to get me to claim a degree at DePaul, which I cannot do. So when you do that, you know, you have to be able to get to that next level. So, you know, I know, Cynthia, you're asking, since they just came out with this All-Star, as far as we know, is sort of the top designation. But I did make an inquiry to, because I was laughing with my person at LinkedIn, and I'm like, hey, listen, I still have this little white space up there. And they said, I know, we're working on that. Because, you know, legitimately you have things updated in your profile. But so they're still working on this. This is brand new. So look for some adjustments. The most important thing is to make sure that you pay attention to this list in here and to keep it going. And to stay tuned to us. We're always going to keep you tuned in to what else needs to change. Now, here's the other cool thing that I like. So I like the fact that they've consolidated our contact information. So you see how we have our Chicago address here, and you can only put one address. So like in the business pages, which I'll show you in a few minutes, you can put multiple locations. So we have multiple locations, but yet I work primarily out of our Chicago office. So I put that in there, you know, as our Chicago office, and then I can actually put my phone number and my primary email and my Twitter accounts and my websites. I really like how it's condensed. Well, on the flip side of this, if I'm connected to you, I like the fact, you know, that I can go and get your contact information, right? So if I'm connected to you, I can find out some of your personal contact information. So the reason this is important, and I'll pick on Kate here, is that Kate doesn't have her phone number listed and other things. So what's interesting is that depending on, you know, who you're trying to get to contact you or who you want to be in contact with, we want that to be accessible. So I like the fact that a lot of times when I'm connecting with people, I can get to their contact information, right? So we'll check on Burl here, see if she's accessible. So now I'll put contact information. So she needs to add her phone number and address and a few other things. She's got her websites in there, but not her email. So this is a lesson for everybody to make sure if you want to be reached, you want people to call you, fill out your contact information, because people are now checking that because it's at the top of the profile. The other thing, let's go back to this. Let's see, where do we have? Yes. So the other thing I like is some of the drop downs. So before I go to meetings, those of you in our sales class know that one of the best, practices or best practices here are to actually have more information on people. So they've put some cool things here. So if I'm on Burrell's profile, I can suggest an update. So I can tell Burrell, so that's my business. I can help people and tell them to fill out their contact info or fix their profile, right? I can suggest an update. But I can also recommend Burrell. I can endorse skills and expertise, right? Find references is where they'll try to get you to pay for another service that they have. I can share the profile. So if I'm looking to make an introduction or to pass people around my network, I can share that profile with people. I can save the profile, and I can export to a PDF, right? So if I save the profile, again, they're always trying to get you into their CRM system. What I do is I export this PDF and I put it in my contact management system. So now I can export this PDF, see if I can get this so you can see it. And I have some nice information instead of having it in multiple locations. Now, a lot of times I'll just have a link, but the reason I print this out is so that before my meeting, a lot of time I like to make notes, on this. I like to talk about specific things on people's profiles before my meetings, just so I can have a better meeting. So I'll look at the people that are in their recommendations. I'll look at keywords, skills that they have, and sort of their experience. So it's real important that I have something else that I can print out. So I still like this export as a PDF. So these are just some convenient things that they've moved around that you might not have been able to find. Now, one of the coolest things I like is how you can sort of rearrange your profile. So there's so many areas now that you can claim. Let me just go to my profile. And so what I can do is I can actually take and rearrange the sections of my profile. So you see that? So I can take all the different sections of my profile. If I have current positions or if I have board level positions, for instance, I'm an instructor for a class that I wrote at UIC Graduate School on LinkedIn. Okay, so I have some and because I've only been there for 6 months, it sees this as a newer, sort of a newer position. Although with Forward Progress, I've been involved with this for over 10 years. So when I put this new position in, it wanted to put the position above. So what I did is I basically took and I moved this position above or below Forward Progress so I could put it in proper order. So again, some of you, most of you should have this screen. Now there are certain levels of releases of what I'm about to show you. Everyone's going to eventually have this newest version of the profile if you don't already. But what you can do is everyone should be able to edit and everybody should be able to arrange the order. The one thing you might not be able to do is actually put the video or pictures on your profile. I love this feature. So the minute you see your profile pop up with this box, or LinkedIn should tell you you have access to the new profile. And the way they sort of judge this is if you had apps that were engaged on your LinkedIn profile before, they sort of selected you first. Okay, so if they saw that you were putting videos and they saw that you were integrating documents and you had things like, SlideShare on your profile, that's the people they activated the videos first. So you can see, like under my experience, if I want to add a link to a video, image, document, or presentation, I can just simply click on here and add that link. Okay, and then I just put in my YouTube link and away I go. The other cool thing is once I do that, I can add some additional descriptions that help with Google searching and things of that nature. Okay, so they're constantly making updates, but this is the newest or the latest and greatest updates where you can have pictures and video on everything from your summary. You know, think about this. Now you can be at a level where you can do a video introduction for your LinkedIn profile. You guys have been asking me this for years, and if you don't have this yet, some of the ways that we used to do it would be to add SlideShare into our profile, you know, to show off our slides and activate a video through our SlideShare. But now they've sort of made it where you can do it directly. So if you don't have this, you should have it in the next month or so. So does that make sense, where you can actually add videos? So I think that is a cool new feature. The other thing is the skills level. So let's see, I want to get to here. So in the skills, right, in the skills, and I'll get to some of these questions here in a few minutes, but in the skills and expertise, right, so we have all the skills and expertise, we want you to claim up to 50 skills. And the reason we want you to claim those skills is because if you don't, it's going to start asking your network based on your past or things that it finds in your profile. It's going to ask you, right? It's going to ask you your network, does Charles, you know, have this skill? Does Amber have this skill? It's going to ask if you have a certain skill, but it's going to start asking your network because it's trying to figure out who has what skills in the network, right? Well, you want to be able to claim your skills and name your skills. Otherwise, your network's going to come up with things, or LinkedIn is going to have it at that level. So your network is going to start rating you. And so what they do is when you go to your profile, see if I can get to another profile here. So when I get to Burl's profile, it's going to say, does Burl have these skills or expertise? And I know her, and so I'm going to claim, I know she knows group dynamics, business coaching, personal development, life coaching, and sales. So I'm going to endorse this. Here's the thing, on people that you're connected with, and only the people that you're connected with, this is your network rating you. So if it's somebody that's never met you, you know, LinkedIn is going to, you know, allow them to endorse you because they're a connection. You've claimed that you're connected to or have a relationship with these 500 people. So there is, you know, there is a benefit to being in relationship with your network. And those of you that take our Social Jack network building class understand how to be in the better relationship with your network and how important that is, because you do want to get a lot of good rankings on things that you know. However, there's a lot of people in your network you may not know or may not know you. So if you're not present in your network and showing up in a specific way, people are going to guess, right? Because people use this as a point of engagement with you. So they think they're doing you a service. However, LinkedIn might not be pulling these from your skills. They might be pulling it out of your profile and saying, well, Cynthia, I see that you used to be in nursing. Is Cynthia good at nursing? Well, she must be. It's in her profile, and LinkedIn pulled it out. So yeah, I'll endorse it. But the authenticity part of this is we only really want to be endorsing for people for skills that we know that they're good at. Yet the network hasn't really been set up this way to do that, right? So let's see. Someone in my network endorsed himself. I don't know how that's possible, Edith. I'd love to know about that. So really, because what it's doing is people, unless they have two profiles, there's really no way they can claim their skills. However, they can't endorse themselves. So I'd love to see that. So, but who knows? So anyway, but the bottom line here is we want you, our students, to be authentic in the world, okay? Because we want to create sort of a world of authenticity, and you know we're really sticklers about that. But we're also about relationship marketing. So again, you know, we want to make sure that you can go in and endorse people, and they can endorse you with pure authenticity. But the bottom line is, you know, make sure that your skills. Now I'm going to put, and I won't rat you out here, I'm just curious, I want to poll you in terms of, yes, so Kevin's saying, are you suggesting that we choose 50 skills? Yes, as long as you have 50 skills. But real quick, I'm just going to take a quick polling on the audience. If you guys can look at your screen. And if you lose our screen, you just click on the flower, and it'll bring our screen back to the top. But I have a poll going, and I'm just curious. And again, I'm not ratting yet. I just want to show you how you compare. So, you know, how many skills do you have listed? None, 1 to 15, 16 to 25, 26 to 49, or 50. So I'm going to give you another 10 seconds at this. So Kevin, to your point about choosing 50 skills, I'm going to show you a way to choose some variations, because what happens is you might be an expert in sales, but you also have a background in sales management. I'll show you how everybody compares on the screen here. So you can see the results of the poll. That 12% of you have none, 38% 1 to 15, 19% 16 to 25, 21% 26 to 49, and 10% are at 50. So you can sort of see how everybody made out here. Now, back to Jeff's question. So Jeff's question is, you know, do I want you to have all 50? Well, the reason I want you to claim 50 is because if you don't claim 50, your network is going to start choosing. Now you have the ability to accept or deny the ones that your network chooses, right? So I have 50 listed. My network has actually dictated some of these down here, and sometimes I'll rotate these out and say, well, my network sees me more in this capacity, and that feels better because they recognize this skill in me. And what I want to do is I want to come up when people are searching for people with these skills or combined skills. Now, when you're building the skill, the very cool thing, you know, when you have a skill and you go down into editing your profile, right? You go on down into editing your profile, you go in and you edit your skills. You see where it says skills and expertise, you can edit your skills. Well, as you go to type in, if I type in sales, it gives me operations for sales, sales management, sales operations, Salesforce, direct sales, sales process, short sales. As you type in, it's going to give you 10 or so suggestions on everything, right? Marketing, right? Different marketing terms. It'd be social, media, right? So I can claim, I do have to spell it right, not social media. So these are claimed. Now you could take one and add one, you know, that is totally different from what is happening in the drop-down list. The thing with that is that these are trending, and you want to be part of comparing your skills into trending markets or collaborative markets, because this is how people are claiming and searching, right? So people are constantly searching for these skills. So you want to claim those skills. Now, as an organization, when we tactically work with companies, we map out the entire organization based on their ultimate outcome and their destination of either a certain market or a certain target or somebody that they're trying to go after. So we really want to make sure that we're tactical and strategic about this. So we name the skills that are in alignment. Like, we'll pull out your best skills that are in alignment with the people you're trying to do business with. It's sort of a realignment or a shifting. And so we want you to see that as well. I've got a ton of new features to show you. So if you're part of our classes, you'll get more of that, or part of our coaching program, you'll get a ton more of what I just showed you. But that we could spend almost a whole hour just on keywording and skills. We could actually spend 2 hours on that. There's other sections too. So now they have sections that they will recommend. When you go into editing your profile, you can choose languages, test scores, courses, patents, certifications. You can choose volunteer experience and causes. I love this. You know, this puts the human being back into the profile, right? Publications, things you've published. Many of you have published things. You can add your publications in there. You can add projects that you've worked on and the people that you've worked on those projects with. In fact, we're re-inventorying all the projects we've done, and we're starting to put those into our profiles. This is sort of a new section, and it's a very cool section because you can now sort of show the world your portfolio. So depending on your success stories and what you've done, it's almost like a website where you have your case studies or your success stories. But what's cool about this is you can connect it to the people and the company. Right, so if you've done things, and you have to be careful with confidentiality, pretend like you're putting it on your website. If you have things to put it on your website, if you have permission to put things on your website and talk about things, unless you're bound by confidentiality, you can put them on your LinkedIn profile under projects that you've done. So projects are on that right-hand side of the profile where you can actually get to that, and so causes, are on there as well. So so think about that. Now, if you have things that you want to, like, let's say you're a board member, you sit on the board of directors, right? And you want to claim that as a position. I always say that, voluntary positions should go under volunteer experience and causes, and things that are paid positions, like board positions, should go under experience, okay? Now, I do have a lot of people that have volunteer board positions because they spend a lot of time at it, and they do put that under their experience as well. So that's a judgment call on your side, but they do have these new sections that they're putting in here, and there's a ton that you can add. I can guarantee you that I will never be putting my test scores on LinkedIn because it's nothing to brag about. But I will tell you I do not test well. I'll put that disclaimer out there. George says he presents at national conferences. Where would you recommend that you place that? Well, like in my headline, I say that I'm a speaker, and I'll actually post things about my speaking engagement. So, George, if it's a regular a part of a conference that you're at and things like that, you could call the conference a project as well if you wanted to. All right, so I talked about, I already talked about the experience and the videos, so I did cover that part. Let's just make sure. Oh, and some things in posting. So I just want to make sure I'm moving along here so I get to some of these other items that I want to show you. So really in the posting realm, a couple of slight changes that they've made. So they have this new LinkedIn Today, which to me is super cool because I can jump to this other page for you. So in LinkedIn Today, and they just put some other publications. It just blows me away because on my iPad it really comes out cool. But you see this LinkedIn Today, I can have it feed me all kinds of cool relevant news. So this news is coming up because of the selection of things that I am following, right? I'm following marketing, advertising, Bloomberg, banking, internet, Harvard Business Review, insurance. I'm following these industries and publications. And now what I can do is I can see what's trending in my network, right? So like, what are you guys following? What's trending, right? And I can see what's actually trending. So this is all the news that's trending in my network. And I can sort of jump on that and look at the hottest news and see what you guys are sharing, and then maybe, share that or like, comment, or share that, in my network as well, right? So I have that opportunity. Now, oh, look, Patricia says her skills, and voila, she was just upgraded and can add video. All right, Patricia, way to go. All right, so cool stuff. Now you can, and I can save articles too. So you can actually save articles for later. And there's a nice little bucket here for saved articles. But this is where you customize your news. This is one thing I want to show you. So this is the part I like. So I can pick industries. I can pick, they'll suggest things for me based on my profile and my interests, and then I can follow sources. This is probably one of my favorite sections. So look at all these publications. I mean, holy smokes, you can subscribe to news from just about anything you want to, So I just think this is, I just think this is amazing. So all the news sources, Reuters, everything is in here so that you can subscribe to it. So now what happens is you have things that you can post and things that are fed to you. So very, 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 very cool, right? All right, so think about that value-based posting. Now, in terms of the connection changes, we always talk about business development and getting a little bit social, right? So let's see if I have, let's see, okay, so I just want to make sure. Okay, so now in this connection section, this is so cool to me. Okay, so I have a lot of schooling, a variety of schooling that I've done. But if I want to go back to Purdue University, right? And so, Shirley, I don't think so, not yet. I want to make sure you're using all the other features first. So, Shirley's asking if she should upgrade. I'm not saying, I'm saying not to upgrade just yet. So now you can look at where they live. Now this is 80 to 82 I went to Purdue, right? So you can do this based on when you graduated or when you attended. I love this because if you want to connect to people in Purdue, I found 15,663 students and alumni in this 2-year period. But here's what's really cool. It'll tell me how I'm connecting to my alumni. Right, so you see Steve here is a director, second level, and I haven't connected with him yet. So it'll show you your entire network. Beyond that, what I like is you can see where they live, right? Where do they work? So if I'm trying to get into a certain company, if I'm trying to get into Intel or Boeing, I have 59 people from my school, those 2 years that are now at Boeing. I can connect myself into Boeing. If I want to see what they do, right? If I'm trying to break in or get information for a certain type of position, right, or a certain area of business, I can do that. If I want to look at what they studied, what they're skilled at. See these skills coming into play? And then how am I connected, right? So I really, for these 2 years, only have 6 people, but I potentially could be connected to 1,200 people, as many as up to 13,000 people. And that's just for that 2 years at Purdue. If I wanted to go into DePaul or some of the other schools that I have listed, I could do the exact same search. So to me, this is ShamWow. This is the ShamWow of my world that I'm not working. And the reason I recognize this is we had a group of people coming through our sales training in January, and I have a couple of women that are just amazing. They probably get 80% of their referrals through their alumni group. They do speaking, they're coaches, and they professional services, a variety of professional services, including coaching, management consulting, and they work their alumni group, and they are successful. They have more business than they can possibly handle. In fact, Jillian just told me last week. I still coach Jillian out of that group, and she had 22 coaching sessions last week. So she's looking to hire a coach under her, right? So think about the potential of this, folks. This is your world. This is how you're wired, but you may not be accessing it. Right? So that's what we teach you in the Social Jack class. We teach you how to rewire your world with intention. In fact, I had a lady just sitting in my office earlier looking to do some business with us, and she's like, I am working so hard, and I do good in terms of income, but I know I could be doing better. And she goes, I feel like I'm in the dark. And I'm saying, well, step into the light so that you can actually see your network and work with your network. It's like a whole new set of glasses or a whole new vision into your network, because many times we're just collecting people, but we're not engaging. We're not converting them into relationships, right? LinkedIn is the ultimate relationship marketing tool for many of these reasons. All right, enough of my ranting. Hopefully you're getting something out of this. So if you're getting something out of this, go into the questions area and go in, yes, I'm getting it. So cool. All right, so now we have some interaction changes. This is pretty cool. So now if I want to interact with my network, there we go. Okay, so now if I want to interact with my network, right? So I want to interact, engage, have conversations. Ira, there he is. Good to see you online, Ira. He's a great student of ours. So now we get into updates. So if I want to interact with my network, I can look through and just show up. It's like showing up to a networking event, right? So I can show up and just show up and interact with my network. So I can like and comment and share things with people out of my network. Now, let's say that I just want to focus on updates, or I just want to focus on who's networking together. I wish I could go through all this today, folks, because this is like huge. But you can go in and say, I just want to see who's connecting to who's making profile changes. It's like you walk into a giant room with all your people. It's like you're hosting a networking event, and you can see who's sharing stuff. You can see who's updated their profile. You know, what moves have they made? You know, what posts are they doing in groups? Right? You can look at their connections. How are they networking? They could be networking to your next 2 referrals, but you're not looking at it. Okay? So you have all this ability right within your fingers. If you just did this 10 minutes a week and you were networking, just like you go to a networking event and you walk around the room looking for the right prospects, you could be networking and being present with all of your connections, right? And this is your network. Now, the thing is, if you don't have time, you can go into updates and you can search for topics, right? So if I just want people in my network that are talking about education, just throw that out there, okay? Education, or you could be talking about sales issues or business issues. I have 188,691 people sharing information in my network at all 3 levels about education. It could be about anything, and I can save these searches and come in. So Ira, if all of a sudden we want to find out who's talking about Scrum 3 levels deep in my network, right, from a project management perspective, I have 20,612 people talking about Scrum, okay? So it doesn't matter. Whatever it is you love to talk about, your network is talking about it somewhere. Are you talking with them, right? Or you just log it into LinkedIn, looking around and jumping out. So think about that, right? Think about, you could jump into all kinds of conversations. What's your favorite thing to talk about? Talk about your network with that, okay? Very, very cool. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I'll take some of these other questions at the end. So you guys are asking some great questions. Alrighty, so now we have sort of being in relationship with our network, right? I'm going to do this before I move into company pages. Jobs, okay? Now a lot of you say, well, I'm not finding a job. Well, if you're in professional services, you sure are. You're always looking for the next contract. You're always looking for the next project. Well, you can look and see, right? You can search in your network, right? So you can search for people. I love looking for companies that are looking for, that are, you know, that have marketing positions that are open, because it tells me that they're going to be, now here's where I can connect my network and say, so-and-so is hiring, right? So-and-so is looking for this. And then when they go in there, they take me with them, right? So if PepsiCo is looking for a senior marketing manager and I've got somebody that I can put at PepsiCo, holy smokes, I'm like wiring myself into PepsiCo, right? So I can actually see what's going on, you know, in terms, and I can search by title, company. If I'm trying to penetrate into a company, I can watch a company and see who they're hiring and look at what departments are moving around. I could literally spend a couple hours just showing you guys this. So if I wanted to get into Chase and I just wanted to see what was going on with Chase, I could look at all the positions in Chase that are going on, right? And then all of a sudden I can go, wait a minute, I'm trying to get into Chase and there's 105 people in my network at Chase. You see that? Boom. Let's start working and getting our way into Chase. So it is really, really cool tactically. We used to do this all the time where we would look through the want ads and then Monster came along and we would monitor sort of those job positions to tactically see where the company was shifting or moving people around so we could be part of that initiative of getting into that company. Okay, so a lot of cool stuff. Is that cool? I like that part. So hopefully some of you go, oh, I get that. You know, I know I can get in there. So that's another cool feature. Let's see. All right, business pages. Let's see. How many people have business pages? Are you guys now business pages are, you know, this is where the whole business or the entity is set up, right? So think about that. So now we get into this where you go into companies. You see at the top right there where I have companies, where you want to get people to follow your company page. And hopefully you guys are following our page, because I think we put some doggone good content up there, right? So if I go to forward progress, right, just look us up, go into there, forward progress, and I'll give you an example of what we have in here. And I think our whole team does a good job. There's my latest blog, right? So I would appreciate that. I put in, find the CEO of your social media. It is a great article. It is a real easy way to tell you how to measure your social media, the growth on your social media, right? So you can read that, and if you like it, we encourage you to click on it and say like. We would love for you to add a comment and maybe even share this. Now, if you're doing this for your company, right, you have all these updates that you can share with your world. You see how that looks in terms, it looks like our company is alive and breathing, right? So we want your company, just like your website, to look like you're alive and breathing. We also have services that we can list, right? So we have services, right? So we have services that we can list, and we can actually put videos, right? We can put videos either on our main page or in our services. I would say, Mike's saying, how frequently should you share on the company page? It's sort of like Facebook, one a day, and then there's a whole Twitter strategy in there too. So look at the services overview here. Hopefully you get some recommendations, and you can put a video in there. One of the things I like, see if I can get in here, and I promise Jamie and Lindsay that I'm not going to mess this up, but I know you'll fix it if I do. So that you put in, you can add a product or service, you can categorize it, you can put in images, disclaimers, promotions, you can add videos. There's a lot of cool things. So when we build out a company page for a company, when you build out a company page, when we build out a company page for it, we structure it like a website, so we sort of look at it like it's your website. So we try to get it to mirror or mimic your website. So there's a whole search engine strategy on this too. But company pages to me are pretty cool, and you get stats too. So you get to see who's connected to it, who's participating in your page. And I'm going to get to a couple of these questions in just a few minutes. I want to make sure I get through some of the main content here first. So you get your recent updates on there. The only thing is they will try to get you to sort of get into their advanced diagnostics, advanced insights. They will also, if you go into, let's see if I can get you here, they will try to get you into the recruiting area. So you'll find places where LinkedIn is doing their job trying to generate revenue and hook you into listing new jobs and things like that. But updates are easy. You see where it says share an update? You can attach a file. So if you have something that you want to attach, and then you can target your audience or send to all followers. So it's pretty cool. So like if you have targeted groups that you want to go into, you can target either by company size, by industry, by function, seniority, or geography. So you can do some target posts as well. So which I think is pretty cool. All right, and I am, let's see, I know Jamie's queuing me up that I have a few extra questions here, so let me just get through a couple other pieces of content here. I also recommend that companies that you're trying to pursue, that you actually get to, you actually follow those companies. So if you're trying to work with a company or even a competitor, I often say that you can get good insight and good information by tuning into the company, by following them, as well as your competition. It's healthy to follow that from time to time. So you just want to go to the company and follow it at the top right hand here. Let's see. Yep. Okay. So here's the assignment, right? So I want to rewind this a little bit, and then I'm going to get to some of these questions. So I want you to make sure that you look at the profile, right? Get that profile to all-star status. Fill it out. Get it complete. If you need the keyword strategy, talk to us, and we'll get you through that. Build your network daily, right? And engage, So we take it to that level. Steve, I'll definitely talk to you about that. Be social, right? Have meaningful conversations. Those of you that are in our Social Jack program and get the coaching, you know how important that 20 minutes a day is. You're getting appointments. We want you to keep, ratcheting that up. Take these new features and these new things and take it to that next level. Now, real quick, I just want to see. I'm going to launch a poll right here. I just want to get a survey, and again, I just trying to get an idea here. So we have, like, if you, like there's, everybody's at a different level. Like I said, I have a dozen countries on here, and we've got, a couple hundred people that are going to be going through here. So if you look at the poll on your screen, click on the little flower if you're not on our page, but if you could, let us know what you need, because this will tell us what classes, because we have a blogging class coming up, we have a LinkedIn training class, a network building class. What else are you looking to do, right? What are you guys looking to do? So I want to make sure you tell us what you want so that we can make sure we're putting the right things in front of you and the right messages in front of you. So if you could help us out with that, then I'm going to, let's see, I have, what are some tips for getting people to follow my company? So that's from Sharia is asking that. So I say you put it everywhere, and if you post and share, people are going to follow that post back to your company page, and that's one of the easiest things you can do. All right, I'm going to take this poll off, so I thank everybody that's clicked on those items. All right, so here we go. So now let me talk about, because people are asking about the Social Jack thing. I know some of you are not in it. So Social Jack is sort of a month or a weekly coaching program that you can be in. A lot of people can't afford our one-on-one coaching, okay, and our one-on-one training. So we have a new batch of students that are coming through this month. And so what we've done is we've opened up we've opened up our Social Jack program so that you guys can participate and get coached every week if you can't afford the direct one-on-one coaching. So we have recorded sessions on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, blogging, and other stuff. We have live training sessions, right? So we have training sessions on advanced LinkedIn training where you get some of the stuff you have today with some more step-by-step. So what if you could take that for a couple of months, right? You could jump in and out of classes at your own pace, and you can watch recordings. You have live group coaching sessions and things like that, right? So you can actually track your database and track your people and build your network to the optimal destination of generating the business that you need, right? So now we have this whole program where you can get not just the live classes, but you can access it 24/7. And we have a whole new learning management system that is ratcheting up around this. And yes, I'll get to some of these questions, I promise you. So now we have 2 sessions coming up. We have Thursday, March 14th and Thursday, March 21st at noon, where you guys will get to learn how to sort of build your sales plan and do your advanced sales conversion, right? How do you convert your network? How do you take your connections and turn them into business, right? How do you generate referrals? How do you do relationship marketing? So we'll take you in these 2 sessions specifically on LinkedIn. Then we also give you the Network Builder, the Social Jack Network Builder classes, and that's 2 classes, or I'm sorry, 3 weeks of classes, and you can take them over the course of the next 2 months if you want. You can even spread it out. And then these are live classes with instructors, right? And you have blogging for new business that Joe's going to teach on the 28th. So you have that plus the weekly training. Now, normally if you do that with us, it's even more than this $479 on here. It's actually close to $1,000 because you're getting a couple of months of access to this. So what we're doing is we're opening this up to the next batch. We had 160 people come through previously. We want to pare this down a little bit, so we're limiting it to like 25 or 30 new people. And those of you that are in the program are still in the program. You're still good. But for anybody that wants to come in for $99, right, we'll get you into this program. It's just at socialjack.eventbrite.com. Okay, and it looks like there's 17 in there left. So, and there's a waiting list after that. And so when we do this, we just process the waiting list from last month, and we have 17, looks like 17 spots left. So again, You get a couple of months of this type of training. You get coaching every week that you can jump in live on Wednesdays at noon. Everything's recorded, and you can get access to the recording. And we have a new learning management system, which is like a mini university, that's going up in the next few weeks. So you'll have access to even more videos. So again, you guys are sort of like the pilot program of the intro of this and getting the taste and feel. But everybody that's gone through, I think Spencer and everybody else that's on the program would agree, Jimmy and everybody else, that it's been great. So I just want to make sure that we open it up to as many people as we can while we're in the position to do so. So we'll go ahead and answer some of these questions, but hopefully you join us on this great journey. Let's see. Sangeetha asks, how do you find people open to informational viewing as a way to learn about their industry? Well, it's about interaction and conversation, right? So what we're talking about is we're talking about taking it to the next level with interaction and having a conversation. How do you find out? When you're talking to people, you build trust. You have something in it for them. And actually, Sangeetha, if you get into our LinkedIn Advanced Sales program, we give you language to convert, relationship marketing, convert that to that next level. And yes, everyone's asking, yes, you do have access to the recording and the live classes. So even though it starts on the 14th, if you have to listen to it on the 15th and attend the next one the following week, you can do that. So the LinkedIn Advanced program has 2 classes, and the Social Jack Network Builder program has 3 weeks of classes, right? And there are only 1 class per week. Okay, so let's see. JH asks, my Facebook company page isn't giving me the same options that you display. Now, Facebook company page is different. We showed you the LinkedIn business page. So I'm not sure if I'm misunderstanding your question there. But let's see. Let's see. Jamie, if you could let me know in the chat area which questions are unanswered in there, that would be helpful. So in the chat area, not in the question area. Thank you. Okay, let's see. My link.
Hey, Dean.
Yep.
The chat isn't working, but I will send them to you. Lindsay's just going to get off the phone.
Oh, got it. Okay. No problem. Let's see, I got Tom in here. Do you recommend that a very small business or consultant get rid of their websites and make LinkedIn their page? Now, you know what, Tom, we're a search engine marketing company too. So for us, it's real important that I think you have that total footprint. So I would suggest, if you were thinking about that maybe you have a blog site that you turn into a website, have a LinkedIn business page, but then dynamically link the content back and forth. Because I think small businesses, and we help small companies get into big companies all the time, and I think it's huge for you to have that presence and that credibility of having an actual website. But what I would do, if you want to keep it low cost, we can help talk to you about that, is to build a blog site. Like Ira, who I mentioned that was on, and Kent, who's on, and a lot of our great servicing folks that are on have blog sites, and they're blogging their way into big companies, as well as connecting that, connecting that to their LinkedIn company pages. So hopefully that helps out. Let's see, trying to get into some other, make sure I get this. I'm just scrolling through here, folks. Let's see, how do you find people? I think I got that one. Yes, and everybody will get a copy of today's presentation, both the video and the link to the slides. So Edith is saying she's tried to edit, but the pencil grayed out when she rolled over the cursor over it doesn't change. Edith, bring that up in the next coaching session next Wednesday, and we'll try to take care of you on that. I know you're in our coaching program. Do you know if there's a way to get your video to autoplay? No. And autoplay sometimes, Kevin, I think I think autoplay can sometimes be annoying, especially if you want people back to your page or back to your community. So I would say that maybe you make it compelling for them to play it. You know, you put some sort of great description on there. You can put the overlay with the big button, you know, for them to click on it, the big arrow button. I think that might be cool. Yes, I'm wondering, what is the content of the Social Jack? Is it only for LinkedIn? No. Okay, so good call, Ed. So no, Social Jack, we've been working with and designing Social Jack for a long time. We've been probably doing it before social networks. But the idea behind Social Jack is we have you set your goals or your destination. So let's say you want to make, like the lady that was in here this morning, wanted to increase sales like $35,000 a month. Okay, she wanted to increase her sales. She knew that she had to have targeted appointments and referrals. So what we did is we helped her, we are looking to help her build her network. Right, so map out her ideal 40 connections and wire herself properly into our network. Because here's what happens. All of us have this current state network, and a lot of us have this ideal state network. Right, so we have this place where we're at today and we're doing a certain amount of business, but the world changes. The world that's buying from the services that we have changes, and if we just maintain that same network and we don't activate it for our new destination, that new network is never going to mature, right? It's going to be by chance or by luck, or like the lady said in my office this morning, she's in the dark. You know, we want to have full intention, like a GPS, about our destination. So we call it the Social Network Navigation System, and we're building additional tools so that you can properly organize the relationships in your network. So this relationship marketing becomes more of a system, not just something that you get up and you have to do every day, right? And then we try to make it fun and engaging and give you new tools using social media like Facebook and LinkedIn. And it's not just about LinkedIn, although for the most part we're kicking off and piloting with a lot of LinkedIn because it's a very high credibility level, and there's a lot of cool things you can do with it, and there's a lot of it just has a little higher integrity level than Facebook does. However, we have a lot of people that we coach and train on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, and Google+. So there are other ways to use it, but no, Social Jack is about the fundamental of building your social network. So hopefully that answers that question, but thank you for asking on the clarity of that. So again, that's that part. Let me get into some of these other questions. So how often do they change the trending numbers? So let me see. I'm not sure I understand that question. So the trend, you mean like the trending numbers in which part? So if somebody could clarify that question for me, that would be good. I'm going to page back through. Steve, I'll get to you independently. Can you list a separate page from your main company page? So I think that means that's Shirley. Shirley, can you clarify? Can you list a separate page from your main company's page? So do you mean like a separate landing page? Because you can have a main company page and then you can list your services and products in there. If you're meaning can you have two company pages, you can, as long as you have two different domains, because it's all driven based on domain. I think I answered that. Do you connect if they, how do you connect if there's second level connections? Hold on, Patricia, I'll try to help you. So Jan's asking, is Social Jack applicable for a real estate agent or is it more B2B? No, Social Jack is definitely, we've probably picked up 7 real estate offices directly in the last, in the last 2 weeks alone. We do a lot with real estate, banking, loan originators, insurance businesses, financial services, and management consulting, consultants, trainers, but it's both and. No, your network, in fact, I won't say the name, but if I said the name, Jan, you would definitely know. Yes, Jackie, I'll hit alumni groups here in a few minutes. I'm running over, but I have some good questions here, so I'm going to keep going. So I know some of you have to drop off. We'll get you the recording on this. But real quick, I have a real estate office that was just in here last week that signed on with our one-on-one private coaching, and so we helped them map out, because here's the statement that they made. They said, we used to be number one. And we had everything going on, but our previous network is still our current network, and the people that are buying are not in our current network, and our market changed around us, and our competitors changed their network, and they took part of the market that we could have had. So now it's time for us to rewire our network to the new buyers. And the lady that came in here this morning was a real estate office, and she said the exact same thing. So I stand by the fact that if you're in real estate or anybody that depends on referrals, Social Jack is the ultimate referral system. So that's, it's about relationship marketing and referrals, and real estate depends on that. So that's my pitch on that, Jan. So sorry if I was misunderstanding. So Shirley says, her main company is Evolve Health, and then independent is Evolve Health for you. So I would think that, do you have two separate websites for that? So we'll have to, okay, so one website, so two different sort of target markets maybe in those areas. One might be for partnerships, and one might be for, you do have two websites. Okay, so you have two separate websites. If you have two different domains, I would set up two different company pages, especially if the target is that different. They feel very much the same, though. I don't know why. It just feels like but I'm not sure your ownership or, equity and all that sort of stuff that might play into it. So Jackie asks, please talk more about connecting with alumni groups. I will try. Let's see. So what I mean by that is we have, sort of connecting the way that I showed you here, where you could connect one-on-one. But if you go into groups and you go into the groups directory, and not sure where you went to school, Jackie, but most every school on here, since there's 1.6 million groups. So I went to Purdue. Now I don't belong to all the Purdue groups because I can't really work them all. I can barely work the one I'm in. But you'll notice that I'm in the Purdue alumni group, right? 35,000 people. That's a lot of people, right? So now I can see the people in my network. I can't even keep up with the people that I'm already connected to that are in my alumni group, let alone, because they're very active and they're very responsive and they give me referrals because I've set it up that way. I've done my Social Jack with my Purdue alumni group. So this is a very, very cool thing, yet there's a lot more people for me to meet. So there are ways for you to go into your alumni groups and interact with those people, and we show you that as part of the Social Jack course. So let's see, you have Medical College of Georgia. Is that the actual name? Because I don't see it in there. I've got to imagine, though, if it's a college or university, it's got to be listed. So I've got, so here's some of them. Oh, there you go, Medical College of Georgia alumni. Maybe because I put GA and not Georgia. So there's your group, right? So there's your people, and there's 12 people in my network in this group. There you go, so you can jump into it. Okay, I'll take one or two more questions. What else do we have here? I'm telling you, folks, you will not get a better training than if you take us up on the socialjack.eventbrite.com offer. I promise you're getting at least $1,000 or better of just in the coaching alone, just in the coaching sessions alone. All right, I think we're good. Jamie, are we good? Going once, going twice. Look how much smarter these people are, right?
Yeah, we're good.
We have another social media boot camp coming up, so last but not least, I'm going to launch, and if you guys want us to put you on the waiting list, Frida, yes, I do have Frida's question. Hold on. So if you want us to put you on the waiting list for one of the social media boot camps that we have coming up, we have a destination boot camp as well as a Chicago boot camp coming up in a few months, and we'll make sure that we put you on the boot camp. Let's see. Frida says we missed her question, Jamie. How did we do that? can't miss Frida's question. Oh, here it is. How do you handle have two different lives, a job, a business? They are different, may not. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you're still who you want to, you still have to be one person. It's okay to have two different lives, but I would say that if you have a job and a business, that you have to make that choice based on where the audience for your job lives, but you have to be authentic. That's first and foremost. So I know it's tough. We've coached tons of people around this, but the fact is, if you have a career or a job, I would state that on LinkedIn, and I would still claim the passion of your business, in there as something that you have knowledge of and that you do. And then I would suggest maybe having a Facebook business page presence. To sort of test your business or put your business out there. And again, it depends what your pathing is, what's your destination, Frida. So is it to eventually leave the job and do the business, and at some point you're going to have to either make that commitment, or the business is really just a hobby at that point. So we've in the 60,000 people that have passed through our doors and windows and screens, it's really comes down to the fact that really we can only focus or really drive one thing really well in this lifetime, in this world, at the time that we're doing it. So my advice would be is to draw a dotted line, make that path, and if your decision is to transition, then here's where you are today, and in 5 years this business is going to be that's where you're going to be all in. Then you start mapping it out and transitioning at that level, or transitioning slowly. So hopefully that helps you out. All right, everybody. Ed, I'll be there for you. So good to see you. Thank you, and welcome aboard, Ed. He's going to join our Social Jack system. So thanks, everybody. I really appreciate this. And again, hello to the 12 countries out there. I think it's awesome that that you've all joined us from all over the world. We look forward to seeing hopefully a lot of you in next week's start of the Social Jack program and the advanced sales training and all the coaching that you get. And we look forward to seeing you online. Take care, everyone.